Hi, welcome to Semiconductor Geopolitics Taiwan's View. This is the third episode of our Cross-Strait series. Before I tell you the main theme of this episode, let me show you a graph first. Have you seen this? This was the feature story of The Economist on May 1st, 2021. As you can see, here's a map of Taiwan covered by the flickering light of a radar, which seems to have detected some fighter jets or warships around Taiwan from PRC and also the USA. Economists said that America and China must work harder to avoid war over the future of Taiwan. Wow, sounds scary, right? China has never been shy about its ambitions for Taiwan, and we certainly don't have to pretend that Taiwan is not likely to fall into war. However, it was only in 2020 that the world began to pay close attention to Taiwan's safety due to chip shortage during the pandemic. 2 years earlier than that, in 2018, Trump launched the trade war and the tech war against China. In history books in the future, we might consider 2018 the first year of Cold War 2.0. Let me show you another graph. This one lists the amount spent in R&D by major international manufacturers in Taiwan from 2018 to 2022. As you can see, investments into Taiwan increase every single year since 2018. In addition to R&D, overseas Chinese and foreign direct investment have maintained a gradual growth since 2010, except for the year when the COVID-19 pandemic occurred. This might come as a surprise given the political tension across Taiwan Strait, which raises the question of this episode. Why are these major international firms increasing their investment in Taiwan? Some of them invest in R&D, some in manufacturing. Is Taiwan really the most dangerous place on earth?
I think I have the right perfect answer for you. In the past 40 years, Taiwan developed so many talent and experienced engineers. So really not just from the IC design, from fab, from material, from equipment. So we built a very robust supply chain in semiconductor. And in the other hand, Taiwan engineers, they have a very good personality and they can take high pressure and they are willing to sacrifice their personal life for the work. Quite different than US and European country. And I think I can give you several examples even during the Chinese New Year. We have a certain customer crisis in Boston. Our engineer willing to travel to Boston during New Year Eve, right, to solve customer production problem. So this is a Taiwan engineer, their spirit, their dedication. It's very hard to find.
如果看过去20年，台湾的晶圆厂数量是仅次于日本。过去4年，台湾的产能是世界第2。那看未来5年，台湾的产能恐怕也是全世界前2大。所以很明显的，市场在台湾，需求在台湾，所以呢，外商当然会到台湾来投资。
其实厂商来台湾投资一定是有利可图，因为台积电是全世界先进制程走得最快的厂商。那通常先进制程的研发，你会涉及到非常多的材料跟设备，所以台积电会需要它的供应商能够就近设立据点，跟台积电共同研发。那也就是说，所谓 bundle in 的这种概念的话，那等到这个制程商业化的时候，原先一起投入的厂商才会得到订单。在这个趋势之下，非常多的日本的材料厂商。美国或欧洲的设备厂商都陆续在台湾设入据点，主要就是希望能够就近跟台积电合作。
These Western companies didn't come to Taiwan just to set up R&D centers. They've also invested heavily in the manufacturing sector, with their largest factory a foundry. Take a guess, how many employees are there in this foundry? Almost 10,000 people.
美光为什么会在台湾投资？当然，最主要第一，它收购了台湾的公司嘛。第二，我们都知道台湾在晶圆制造的成本跟整个 全球比较起来，我们是非常具有竞争力的。美国、日本、德国那个半导体工程师，要么缺人才，要么就是找不到人。但是在台湾，一流优秀的人才都抢着要去半导体公司上班，但是薪水相对于欧美日又是比较便宜。所以我如果是美光，我当然要大举在台湾投资晶圆厂啊。
The fact that so many world-famous brands have come to Taiwan to set up either R&D centers or production bases can at least prove that Taiwan is not the most dangerous place in the world, right? As of the time we finished producing this episode, both regional conflicts are still ongoing. We sincerely hope that peace will come to both areas soon.
我非常同意，台湾其实不是那么危险的地方啦。虽然我们现在面临的两岸之间好像在政治上不是那么友善，军事上也让我们感觉到有一点威胁啊。可是事实上，两岸的人民之间，老实讲，并没有存在仇恨，那交往其实也是非常的频繁。在这个状态之下为什么大家会感受到，因为这个贸易冲突、地缘政治的这个发展，会让大家觉得说台湾非常危险。
I think most people here will not agree with what the economy said in that feature story, and actually it has pretty much negative implications on Taiwan because the U.S., for example, including Commerce Secretary Raimondo as well as Finance Secretary, continue to address to American companies saying that investing in Taiwan is not a good idea and they have to re-evaluate the whole investment climate. And in that regard, I don't think U.S. Supposed to be the best supporter for Taiwan should have that kind of remarks.
If Taiwan is caught in war, both military and the daily supplies of the US would once again be threatened by chip shortage. This is, of course, one of the major strategic concerns of the US, and therefore is our concern too, which we pay close attention to.
If you are consider Taiwan is so dangerous, you want to protect Taiwan, then there's no need you have to move the new investment or the production of chips to the United States. And so some people or some think tank scholars even suggested that if ever China is going to attack Taiwan, maybe we should blow up the TSMC fab in Taiwan in order to make sure that those valuable assets may not leave it for China to use in the future.
So probably the Biden administration hasn't decided yet.
They are hedging at the same time. One is that if we can help Taiwan to defend China's attack, then we'll try to help Taiwan. But if we cannot, we have to have a contingent plan at the same time. So that's the reason they pressure TSMC to manufacture chips, advanced chip especially in the United States.
You're right that most Taiwanese companies have relocated either their operations here or their operations in China to Southeast Asia, South Asia, for example, India, or even to Mexico, the neighbors for the U.S. But for the semiconductor as well as machinery, most of the operations are still here. And therefore, for semiconductor, we continue to receive domestic investment as well as foreign investment. But for other industries, they have diversified to other parts of the world because of cross-strait tension, because of their clients asking them to diversify their operations, not in Taiwan, not in China. And that is what we call the trend of China plus one or Taiwan plus one.
就是台商不得不去承受的一些压力，像比如说苹果链，苹果链呢，它就非常清楚要求台商，而且是库克直接要求大的代工厂，你要直接到印度设厂，因为根据美国的所谓的印太战略的一个思考，它 逼的美国很多在亚洲的生产基地要离开中国，然后到印度去设厂。
Whether it is China Plus One or Taiwan Plus One, TSMC has dispersed its production capacity overseas. Some fear that this is the process of de-Taiwanization under geopolitical pressure, which implies that Taiwan's relevance in the global semiconductor industry will be undermined eventually. This is a serious concern for Taiwanese people because TSMC has a nickname in Taiwan called 护国神山, which means the holy mountain that protects the nation. If the mountain is gone, who's going to protect us?
根本没有去台化，因为台积电不管是2奈米、1奈米，它都会继续在台湾投资。他们的观点是说，你如果去海外投资就是去台化，但问题不是这样。台积电最重要的研发，最重要的这个制造的 recipe， 事实上都在台湾的。海外的工厂都是它，从台湾的工厂直接 copy 过去的。所以台积电在台湾现在有7万多个员工了。这些员工呢，你是搬不走的。
It seems we are back to the most important asset of Taiwan's semiconductor industry, high-quality engineers.
Quite different than US and European engineers, their mindset, right? So it's Qualcomm, NVIDIA, and then Microsoft, Google, now they build R&D center in Anqiao. Why they come here? I use the Chinese word, 耐操. I think that's why so many big companies want to continue investing in Taiwan.
I understand that our government, in some way, trying to show that we are not happy with that kind of comments, and therefore you don't hear that kind of comments anymore in the past 1 year.
我相信我们应该要对自己有信心啦。台湾其实并不是一个危险的地方，而是因为台湾的这个半导体产业对于全世界的重要性，会让全世界不管是友善的国家，还是我们在这个贸易上有竞争的国家，他们其实都是仰赖台湾当做他们供应链里面非常重要的一个地区，所以跟台湾合作，比起跟台湾去竞争，对他们更有利，那我们的投资额一定是增加的。
The feature story of The Economist was published on May 2021, which was more than 3 years ago. Is this ancient topic still relevant to us? If the answer is yes, how so? I would say there are 2 reasons. Firstly, the threat from the other side of the Taiwan Strait still exists. Secondly, Taiwan still possesses 70 to 90% of the advanced chips capacity globally, depending on how you define advanced chips. The situation is pretty much the same, so people are still worried about any sort of contingency that may or may not happen. Our conclusion is, if anything happens to Taiwan and we're forced to stop making and supplying chips to the rest of the world, then the whole world is in danger. It won't be just Taiwan. If you enjoy our program, please like and hit that subscribe button. See you next time on the Cross Trade series.